The static alignment can make or break the success of a transtibial prosthesis. Today, you learn exactly how to perform it and what to do when the setup isn't working as planned. The static alignment is your first real-world check. Does the bench alignment still hold up when the patient is upright and weight-bearing? That first moment of standing must always be supported, whether it's with crutches, parallel bars or handrails. Safety is non-negotiable. Once the patient is standing, it's time to work through a systematic mental checklist. This checklist guides the static alignment process and helps you not to forget anything important. Let's look at these key steps. One of the earliest indicators that something isn't right is often an issue with prosthetic height. To objectively assess this, height comparison plates with known dimensions can be placed under the prosthetic foot or the contralateral limb, or you measure both leg lengths once again. While the patient's feedback is helpful, it should always be evaluated in the context of visual cues and clinical judgment. Why? Because the body is great at hiding problems. It compensates. If the prosthesis is too long or too short, the patient may unconsciously adapt strategies to master discrepancy. For example, a prosthesis that's too long may lead to an increased knee flexion on the prosthetic side, a tilted pelvis, a plantar flexed contralateral foot, or visible forward or backward shifting of the prosthesis relative to the sound side. These subtle patterns can easily be mistaken for normal variation if you're not actively looking for them. Once the height is confirmed, the position of the foot in relation to the socket should be analyzed. A foot positioned too far posteriorly indicates insufficient socket flexion. Conversely, a foot placed too far anteriorly often points to excessive socket flexion. The next consideration is whether the patient stands comfortably or feels directional force acting on them. If the patient feels a force that pushes them backward, or if the knee locks into extension, excessive plantar flexion is likely. Reducing plantar flexion can bring the limb into a more neutral stance. If the patient feels pushed forward or the knee stays flexed, increase in plantar flexion can help restore stability. Once the sagittal alignment is addressed, frontal plane evaluation becomes the next focus. This includes the alignment of the knee joint, any visible socket gaps, and areas of pressure reported by the patient. A common finding is a proximal lateral gap combined with a distal lateral pressure. This pattern typically suggests that the foot is positioned too medially and should be shifted to the lateral side. The reverse configuration requires a medial shift. Regardless of adjustments, the prosthetic foot must maintain full, flat contact with the ground, without putting too much pressure on the lateral or medial side. Once the sagittal and frontal alignment have been assessed visually, we reach a natural checkpoint. In clinical practice, this is where static alignment would traditionally end, based on observation, experience and patient response. But thanks to modern technology, we now have tools that let us go one step further, turning what was once a subjective process into something measurable. One of the most well-known systems for this is the laser posture system by Ottobock. Let's take a look at how it works and how it can enhance alignment precision. The laser contains sensors in each corner, measuring pressure distribution and projecting a laser that indicates the location of the ground reaction force. This visual feedback confirms whether the forefoot lever is functioning properly and whether the load is being transferred correctly through the prosthesis. Let the patient step with one leg on the laser and view the prosthetic leg from the side. From the lateral perspective, a good sagittal alignment places the laser in these areas: 6 cm anterior to the central foot screw, around 1.5 cm in front of the knee pivot point, and roughly 1.5 cm anterior to the great trochanter. In the frontal plane, the laser should run along the lateral edge of the patella, through the center of the prosthetic foot, and approximately 5 mm lateral to the foot adapter. As a final step, the patient should be instructed to stand on the platform with both limbs. This allows for analysis of the center of mass and comparison of bilateral load distribution. The sagittal position of the laser should not deviate more than 10 to 15 mm from the previously established unilateral value. A larger deviation indicates that there is unsymmetrical load distribution. But before you even attempt a static alignment, you must be sure to have checked these crucial points first. A correct and stable bench alignment, a fully healed and weight-tolerant residual limb, a properly fitting socket, and the patient must be physically and psychologically ready to bear weight and to stand up. If you want to dive even deeper into prosthetic gait patterns and level up your prosthetic expertise across different amputation levels, check out this video. And if this was helpful, consider liking and subscribing. See you next time at Got It.